G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and in this video I'm going to show you some new fruit trees or food plants that I've purchased, and I'm going to let you know what they are, where I'm going to plant them, and why I purchased them. Let's get into it. Hey, just as a side note, remember those zucchinis that I planted not so long ago? They are going gangbusters. They are zooking off. All right, let's just open this straight up. Now, the reason I don't know what's in here is because I ordered these plants over a month ago, and for whatever reason, supply issues or something, they weren't able to get me. Maybe they were waiting. I think from memory, they might have been waiting on a plant to mature enough to post it to me, and so they had to hold the other ones back and then post them all at once. Whatever, they're here now, and I can't remember what they were. I could have easily looked them up, and I've had a little peek through the window here, so I've got a little bit of an idea, but let's open it up and see if I get as much of a surprise as you do. All right, they look okay. Here we go. What I might do is just rip the box apart. There we go. They've got some plastic wrapped around the base. You can see the two dragon fruits, a kaffir lime tree, and a lychee, or a lychee, if you want. You can call it a lychee, but I think lychee sounds better. Sounds more sophisticated than a lychee. A lychee sounds a little bit derogatory, don't you think? Lychee. Careful not to cut the plants. It's only like a Glad wrap type stuff. That's just to lock the moisture in when they're in transit. Nicely wrapped, pretty good. Okay, good. So let's have a look at the quality. The cuttings on the dragon fruit, they look very healthy. It's got a large base, which is a good sign. Doesn't need to be a lot of pot for these things, because quite frankly, they can grow just like that. But I like that it's a good thick cutting. There's no obvious signs of any type of fungal diseases like brown spots. You're going to get these cuts and these imperfections through the vine. That's normal. Looks very healthy. What type is it? Dragon fruit Aussie Gold. That's right. Yeah, Aussie Gold. Cool name. Kaffir lime. Nice and damp still. Tides out on the potting mix, but it looks fairly fresh. There's fertilizer in there. The tree looks healthy, and the lychee, bit of a crooked stem on it, not a problem really, as long as it's got a good base. And the leaves, well, there's a bit of damage here, probably when they packed it or through transit. It's broken off here, but overall it looks pretty healthy. What I need to do is give these a good water in first before I do anything, and I might just put them in a kind of a shaded place initially, just so that they can get a bit of dappled shade and adjust to the sun after being in that box. I'm just going to stick them over this side here, because it won't get that afternoon sun, which can be quite harsh, but it will get that morning sun in the morning coming over this way. I won't be planting these today. I want them to have a few days after travelling, because, you know, travel sickness and all that. No, it's just not good for them to... They will get some type of shock through that transition. They're going, not only travelling in a box and getting knocked around for how many hours, but they're also going from a slightly different climate. I've got these from down south, so that change sort of overnight is going to disrupt the plant and disorientate it. But you know what I mean. So if you then straight away whack it into the ground, it could be problematic. It's not giving it the best start anyway, and I want to give it the best opportunity. You don't want to lose them just from a sheer rookie error like that. But I'm still going to show you where I'm going to put them. That's not the plant screaming, that's the hose making that sound. All right, let me take you, I know you can't see me very well because the sun's behind me, but I'll show you where the dragon fruits are going to go first. It's down that bottom corner of our property, the bottom right hand corner, and I'll go through this way. I've just got to show you the back of the property and how terrible it is at the moment. All right, come on. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Still a bit further down this way. See how progressively long the grass is getting? Oh, there's a few pumpkins. How unusual. There's another few. There's one that's ripe. Look at all the ants over this fella. They're not in there, they're just sitting underneath the pumpkin, probably waiting for it to rot or something like that. Ever since the floods, it's been really sloppy down here. There's no way you could get a ride on. Can you hear it? The mulberry trees are suffering. The banana trees are doing okay, but they love a lot of water, but they also don't like to be waterlogged. And about the only thing that's going good is the pumpkin vine, which, because I haven't been able to mow, has been able to go wherever it wants. So speaking of going, we're going over in this corner. So we'll chuck a lefty for you, a righty for me. Essentially, I wanted to show you this bottom corner because even though it gets a lot of seepage, and especially now it's fairly wet and boggy, this is where my new dragon fruit and other types of trellising plants are going to go. I'm even going to try some grapes down here and possibly even some kiwi fruit that I've been meaning to plant for a while. I just didn't know where and I just didn't have the posts. This is my main dragon fruit vine that I've had for years. It's a red variety right behind this galangal plant. It's a beautiful piece of fruit. We've been chomping on these for the last 6-7 months. One thing about that extra rain that we've been having is that dragon fruit has just loved it as long as you've got free draining soil, because it hates wet feet. You know, the more water the better for that type of plant. I've got some posts up there. They're from Wood Shield, and they have supplied me with a number of their new types of posts, which is pine covered in recycled plastic. You know how much I like recycling, using things again and again. Well, this is the epitome of that. And along with that, I'm going to be using recycled plastic raised garden beds from plastic forests made down in New South Wales, Australia. The dragon fruit are going to grow nice and free draining, especially if you get a lot of inundation like this. So I need to build it up. Now, the reason why I wanted this yellow or golden Aussie type of dragon fruit is because I already grow a yellow variety, and that yellow variety has thorns on it. I don't mind that because it keeps the animals off it, but apparently this Aussie Gold, no thorns, and that's why I got it, to compare it to the other yellow. Does it taste as good? Is it the same sweetness? Is it better, or what? Now let's move up this way and I'll show you where I'm going to put the lychee and why, and also the kaffir lime. Okay, just so I can orientate you, here I am down the back. I'll walk up from where I was talking to you, down near where we're going to put the dragon fruits, and I'll walk up this way, garden on the right hand side, the veggie patch. We've got remember the turmeric, or the herb video I did last release? That's that turmeric in there. And this is all that side is our main orchard. And tucked in here, which you can't probably see very well, is a lychee tree sitting underneath these mangoes. Here it is. And it's growing surprisingly well, but I'm not going to make it fight for light. I'm going to cut these mangoes down considerably. Like, I mean, I'm going to be just terrible on them, but they'll recover, they'll be fine. The main reason is I hadn't grown lychees before. I put the tree here and I wondered how it'd go. We've got a few fruit off it. We've had to fight the animals for it. The possums just adore it. And so I'm going to find a way to be able to net that so we can get more fruit. But the ones that we have had has been really delicious, like one of my favorite fruits now to eat. Let this tree grow on more, probably cut the mango behind it down as well, not down fully, but to a manageable height, which I like to do in this garden anyway. I don't want anything to grow to full size. I want to keep them all manageable so they're easier to net from animals, so they're easier for me to manage, and I'll mulch it all back into underneath the trees. So that brings me to where I'm going to plant the other lychee, now that we realise we love them. And so I'm going to plant it in a spot where it's going to get some nice morning sun, and that's right here. Now this is a kumquat, and it's already, the rootstock starting to take over. I haven't been a big fan of it. I don't know why I planted it there. I should just dig it out, which I'm going to, and I'm going to put it into a container. So I'm going to plant it exactly in the middle between the star fruit and that large pomelo. And that way it's always going to get some morning sun. There'll be no more trees on that side of it, so it'll get some afternoon sun as well, and it'll have enough space to be able to expand and hopefully give us a whole heap of really nice fruit. Now through here is where I'm going to plant another kaffir lime. If you watched my last video on herbs and spices, you would have seen that I showcased this little kaffir lime tree here. The thing is, this is a real amateur tree. It's dwarfed, but I don't think it's dwarfed on purpose. I think it's dwarfed because an amateur person at the markets grafted it onto some rootstock that keeps trying to take the tree over, and I keep cutting that rootstock back to stop the sucker growth from coming up. And when I do that, it just keeps the tree stunted. Plus we use quite a lot of the leaves. And that's what I was thinking. I really do need a second kaffir lime tree, and I did have one, and it was planted just over here next to this Valencia orange right here, and this is what's left of it, because I don't know if you can see the lesion here, but it got a borer in it, and it just, well, I couldn't save it. It was on the main stem, and unfortunately it carked it. So I'm going to re-dig this spot, and I'm going to put a proper professionally grafted kaffir lime tree there, and hopefully if I look after it, give it a bit of care, and keep an eye out for the borers that come around occasionally, hopefully it'll grow into a really nice larger tree and give us that extra leaves that we need, or will want, for our Asian food cooking. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big, new and exciting plants thumbs up, and share the video around. It was a bit different, this one, a bit vloggy style, and also subscribe if you haven't already, because of course all that helps my channel out heaps. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.